The Prime Minister offers words of advice on leadership. And coming up in sports, and fighting within the B3As continues. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Good Sunday evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news tonight, it's been an issue the government has wanted to address for some time now, but this week, Wednesday, in the House of Assembly, the Christie administration will introduce legislation to establish a national sex offenders registry. The bill will be called Marco's Law. This idea to implement the registry was pushed further after the September 2011 murder of Marco Archer. Kofi Goodman was sentenced to death last month for the killing. National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage made the announcement of the Sex Offenders Registry legislation this morning during an address at the Harvest Thanksgiving service at Mount Calvary Baptist Church on Blue Hill Road. He was accompanied by Marco's mother and sister.
Marco died a painful death, and so we are amending the sexual offenders law, so that henceforth, once that law is passed, there will be published a sexual offenders list. So people who rape people, who have incest with people, who sexually abuse people, especially young children, their names will be published for everybody to know. So that, because many of the people who commit these kinds of offenses do them over and over and over, and we have to protect the public.
This morning's Harvest Thanksgiving service not only provided food for those less fortunate in the Main and Grantstown constituency, but honored a number of individuals who have committed themselves to the church and the community. Among them was Main and Grantstown Member of Parliament, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, describing him as a lifelong friend and colleague. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie explained why Dr. Nottage was deserving to be appointed the Minister of National Security.
I knew he had come out of the police home, and therefore he would understand the aspirations of people who are in the uniformed services of our country, people who sacrifice their lives in our country, people who tirelessly commit themselves to our country. I knew B.J. Nottage was wonderfully equipped to deal with those matters, and let me go right back on that, and he is smart.
Heads of the law enforcement agencies also congratulated the National Security Minister on his honor, but Dr. Nottage admitted that he couldn't come this far without realizing that God truly answers prayers. He also noted why everyone should partner in solving crime.
Each of us together can stop crime, because it's us or our children or our relatives or our friends or our acquaintances who are the criminals. And if we get serious with them and talk to them and challenge them and discipline them, we will make a difference.
The stage is being set for a bright future in the maritime industry. Hundreds of young Bahamians will be given the opportunity for training and provided with financial assistance by ship owners. During his recent trip to London, the Prime Minister met with the Bahamas Ship Owners Association to discuss hosting a major promotional event in the Bahamas in order to attract young Bahamians to pursue careers in the maritime industry.
An irresistible kind of prospect for us, and where as we think about our country and we think about not just being a passive recipient of the benefits of the maritime industry, that is having people come in and register their ships, but actually having Bahamians work on those ships worldwide in executive positions. And Lowell Mortimer has started on this key of Arawa Key, the L.J. Mortimer Maritime College, which is intended to actually provide the academic setting and base for all of what I'm speaking about.
Prime Minister Christie, along with Transport Minister Glenys Hannah Martin and Financial Services Minister Ryan Pinder, also had the opportunity to participate in the start of the International Maritime Organization Council.
After going to a promotional event by the ship owners who are registered, their ships registered, but men and a woman who constitute an executive board that promotes the Bahamas. I was invited to address them and speak to them, and I was able to thank them for all the work they're doing to keep the Bahamas competitive, and also to indicate that the Bahamas is now trying to source new products in the industry, a yacht registry and a aircraft registry.
Several women who played leadership roles in the Capitol worshipped at the Grandstown Methodist Church this morning to kick off National Women's Week. Minister of Social Services and Community Development Melanie Griffin boasted on how far women have advanced in the Bahamas over the years.
The significance of celebrating National Women's Week is to commemorate the work of our foremothers, those women who were at the forefront in the women's suffrage movement, fighting for the right for women to vote in the Bahamas, who got the vote in '61 and voted for the first time in 1962. It was a landmark occasion, and certainly it brought to the Bahamas universal adult suffrage, and therefore it is worthy of commemoration.
President of the National Women's Advisory Council, Marissa Smith, explained the number of activities planned to celebrate the special occasion.
Tomorrow, Monday the 25th, we will be in Rawson Square, where we will launch the Say No to Violence campaign. This campaign is in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Services, the Bureau of Women Affairs, and the Crisis Center, and Zonta. As we come together to say no to violence, we are proposing that we heighten the awareness of saying no and to eradicating violence against women and girls. We see it as such an important time for us to champion the cause because of so many untimely deaths that we are experiencing in our nation against women and girls.
There is no doubt that the government's proposed implementation of value-added tax is being met with quite a bit of opposition. There is agreement, though, that tax reform is necessary. But there are those who are calling on government to explore alternatives to VAT. One such suggestion for government to consider introducing an income tax. However, coordinator of the VAT implementation project, Ishmael Lightbourne, explains just why an income tax wouldn't be the best option.
Well, if you introduce income tax in this country, we got probably 50% of our people who got stalls on our quay, on Porter's Quay, on the streets, where you can't even collect national insurance right now. How are you going to collect income tax from what they call the informal economy? An income tax system works in a system where you're working with the corporation deducts your salary from your payroll and pay it over to the government.
Mr. Lightbourne was speaking to Seabreeze residents during a recent town hall at the Sadie Curtis Primary School on value-added tax. As the debate over the new form taxation continues, Seabreeze Member of Parliament Hope Strawn says she's ensuring her constituents get first-hand knowledge about VAT and just how it will impact them.
It is important for me to be able to articulate for my constituents about value-added tax, and so this is an educational process for me tonight as well. And even though I've seen the presentation before, I believe that the more I see it, the more I'll understand it, the more I'll be able to explain it. And I believe that my constituents as well should be afforded the same opportunity. But it is important for the Bahamian people to really voice their opinion. And even if it is a negative opinion, it needs to be voiced. And we need to know how the Bahamian people are feeling about this issue. And we also need to hear from people who may have suggestions about alternative forms of taxation.
Weekend Edition continues. The member of a prominent Junkanoo family is laid to rest. That story and more coming up.